Hello LEGO fans, Bricks Unbound here with another Building Hogwarts update. And this is a pretty exciting one. The Astronomy Tower is 99% done as far as the exterior goes now. So that is huge. I'm just going to take a step back here. Man, it looks pretty good, I would say. There's still some proportion problems and everything, but since the most recent update, I have been working just on this section here. Just this extra balcony out here. There is still a huge gap here. I wasn't going to fill that in until I knew exactly how this tower was going to meet up with that section of the building. And luckily, with how it's built, it meets up pretty perfectly, actually. I can just continue over these slopes a little bit further, cover up that gap, and it'll be pretty much done, which is very exciting. As expected, the roof was the hardest part here. It is a very similar technique to what I did for these tower tops over here. I did figure out a better technique though of actually attaching these plates to the side, which I used here, which I'll probably go back and fix in these. So basically, what it looks like to get the round shape is I used a bunch of these, I guess, A-shaped plate pieces. Just connected them all the way around in a little circle there. Then I have these clips, and then actually these shield pieces. I think technically on like Bricklink and stuff, they're modified plates, but as you can tell here, it's actually a shield from a First Order Stormtrooper. I had a bunch of those battle packs, and I'm like, hey, I bet these would work to attach, and what do you know, they do. Obviously this part is more valuable than I'd like to use necessarily inside these, since it is a printed piece, so I did do a Bricklink order for a ton of those, like 60 or 70 of them, in I think dark red, whatever the cheapest color was. So I will replace the ones I used up in here, so I'm not using these shields, but it's a good way to recognize which piece it is. So yeah, I just connected those around in a circle, and then stuck these on. The nice thing about it is attaching it like this, instead of using the hinges, like what is inside here, instead of using these. A couple nice things. First, this attachment point is way sturdier. The clip holds it on a lot tighter than just that sitting on top of a couple of studs. Also, you can really get a lot more options to angle here, because you're not limited by there being plates sticking out underneath it like what you see there. So this worked a lot better. Like I said, I'm probably going to replace this attachment point in the roofs all the way around here. It's also what I used in the bottom sections. It's not as big of a deal there, those stay on a little bit better. But I'll replace it in these two roofs as well. But it gave a nice shape here, and actually I was able to make it so it had much smaller gaps in it as well, as you can see there. It isn't too bad until you get real close. All of this here is just temporary. I just didn't have the pieces I wanted to make this line up correctly, but it still works all right. There's obviously still a gap right there, but it did turn out pretty good, I think. I'm happy with how that's looking. Ideally, that roof would be even taller, because unfortunately right now, can I get a good angle to compare it over? It is slightly shorter than the Grand Staircase Tower, but that's alright. And who knows, maybe I'll rebuild it at some point, but right now I'm pretty happy with actually how that roof section turned out. Fits relatively snugly all the way around. I was also able to get some pretty good archways in there. They're not quite what it looks like in the movie or in like any official pictures of it, but it was about as good as I could do with how tight I needed that top of the tower to be. But I think it doesn't matter a whole lot there. It gets the point across pretty well. Some gaps, as I mentioned, up in various sections here which I have parts actually on the way in that Bricklink order that should fill in some of these, make it look a little bit cleaner. But that's a good spot to be in now for the Astronomy Tower. After I get those few more parts in, I can call the exterior of this done for now, which is very nice. I might still split this window into two separate windows. That might just look a little bit better there. And then obviously the interior has nothing in it right now. As I mentioned previously, this hole here, I'm planning on having, or that room in there, I'm planning on having some kind of old-fashioned looking telescope build, where in theory they could look out this. Also probably adding a few smaller telescopes that are attached around here or can be attached, maybe even down here. But this is the main observation platform as it was. So let me know what you think about the progress here. I'll do a walk all the way around it. It's not in its exact spot because it'll fill in this hole here in the courtyard, but in order to get slightly better lighting, I pulled it out a bit. But overall, so happy with this, and to have it mostly complete. Once I figure out what I'm going to do on the interior, and if you have ideas for what these lower floors should be for the interior, let me know. Right now they're just completely empty. They do hinge open from the side. You can see the hinges there. So I can open it up and look at whatever I end up putting in there whenever I decide on it. Most of the classrooms and things are accounted for in other parts of the castle. And like the astronomy classroom will be that top floor essentially. So it's not going to be further down, but I'll come up with something to put in there eventually. So now that this is mostly done, big question is what's the next project? And I think it's going to be this hole here. So there's going to be another tower in this section, a square tower that'll look very similar to the bell towers, but taller. I need to make sure it doesn't go as tall as the astronomy tower, but that it is taller than these. I mean, another option would be to put another floor in the astronomy tower, but that is where I'm going to have, well, the bottom couple floors will be continuations of the library that's in this section. That'll continue over. But then there's that tower in the middle, and that's where the Ravenclaw common room is going to go. So it'll be nice to actually get a common room in the castle, because so far, the Hufflepuff one will eventually be in approximately this area, probably the lower levels of this tower, which right now just holds brick separators. And then Slytherin is obviously, it's technically kind of under the lake, or it has windows that look into the lake. So that's going to be underground somewhere, and right now there is no ground until I get stuff started to raise it up. But it'll be somewhere in this general area. And then obviously Chamber of Secrets will have to go somewhere underground eventually. There's a lot more work to do, and then Gryffindor Tower is the back corner of this quad section, which there's not a table there. So that'll be a whole new challenge of potentially doing some rearranging in here to try to get more to fit. But that'll do it for this update. I'm very happy with how the Astronomy Tower has turned out. I guess I might do some stickers or something on those very plain cylinder pieces there. But that'll do it for this update. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and please keep coming back for more videos.